How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group. It had quite the pullback inside of the market. The messages were coming in like, Dre, what is going on? If you were watching the technicals in the previous video, I was telling you, if it does decide to pull back, you want to see how much strength is at that $50 level. And it ended up testing right around $50 on the day. It did have a bit of a bounce, but of course, I'm going to make sure you guys are prepared for tomorrow. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know those key levels, especially in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. I want to make sure you guys have a strategy. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information and as well as the recent institutional ownership. The reason why the short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what is the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the institutional side and as well as on the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $52.55, being down 5.35%. On the low, it tested $50.31, and then on the high, testing $57.75. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you could see we traded at 196.819 million shares, and for the average volume over 10 trading days, being at 110.686 million shares. So one thing we can notice right away, we did have strong above average volume, but of course we did have a choppy time inside of the market and we ended up seeing some pressure on the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 74.02. So it's still in the overbought territory, but do keep in mind it did pull back a bit, of course, by taking a look at the price. Now, when we take a look at the moving averages here on the chart, we have strength above the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA on a strong uptrend. So yes, we ended up having a pullback inside of the market, but like I was saying in the previous video, you want to see support for Lucid at the $50 level. Now, as far as where we tested on the day, it was right at $50.31. So that was fairly close, and it was great to see it was able to hold up. Right now, as far as for the high on the day, which happened in the early parts of the day, it was at $57.75. So you're going to want to see Lucid actually get past this area so we can look forward to seeing a strong move going to $60. If $50 does decide to ever end up breaking going into tomorrow, or if things start looking bearish, then the next level to keep an eye on will be right here around $47.50. And also if that decides to break, I'll be looking to see some strength right here at the $45 level. So now that you have a good idea of the ranges that you want to pay attention to, I hope you guys have a strategy because we've been able to cover Lucid for quite some time and we've been able to see that, hey, a lot of these predictions have been coming through. So now let's jump into the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So let's see, for November the 17th, we have Consolidated Planning Corp that purchased 100 shares, and we also have Tudor Investment Corp at all that ended up going in with a call. We also have Dark Forest Capital Management LP that purchased 7 shares. Like, really? They got to report that? 7 shares? And then as far as for November the 16th, we have Blackstone Group Inc. that purchased 8.3 million shares, just over that. And if we go down even more, you can see CTC LLC that went in with just over 9,000 shares. And we could see here right away Charles Schwab Investment Management Inc. that went in with just over 1.15 million shares. We have MBM Wealth LLC that purchased 50 shares. And that's pretty much what I wanted to sum up to show you guys size, we already covered the ones in previous videos. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 40.37%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 54.52 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 3 million, updated 10 minutes ago, and then for the short vol free rate, it is at 0.96%. Going down even further on the page, you can see for the close for the short volume ratio, it was at 40.13, and then for the close of the 16th, which was yesterday, being at 40.37. So what this tells us right away, Lucid continues to have short squeeze potential, and it's part of the reasons why you want to continue to keep it on your watch list and also have a strategy before jumping into this play. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow, it was at 2,127, and then on the outflow, it was 2,254. Keep in mind, this is in the millions. Taking a look at the breakdown even further, on the large, we had 21.10. On the medium, we had 1,104, and then on the small, we had 1,002. Taking a look at the outflow side on the large, we had 15.42. On the medium, we had 1,184, and then on the small, we had 1,055. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, November the 17th, it being that inflow of 5.69 million. Taking a look at the breakdown even further, as far as for the small scale side, which tends to represent the retail side, we could see overall we had more selling than we had buying. When taking a look at the medium, we had more selling than we had buying as well. But when we take a look at the large, we saw more buying than there was selling, and this could potentially represent institutions. So this is good to know. And now when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was right around 12.01%. So we know for a fact there's a lot of traders coming in and out of this play, and this is why it's very easy to understand why the turnover ratio is that high. But there are also many people who are holding on to their shares as well. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind, and just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. You believe in the long-term prospects and you don't mind paying this premium for a stock like Lucid. For myself, I'm going to tell you guys this straight up. Yes, I have an average cost around $17, and I have not added any more to my position, and I don't plan on doing it when the stock is trading at these current levels. And this is why I say, if you're a long-term investor and you're thinking about taking a position, do not do it right now. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, as far as how it performed, I'm not surprised that we ended up having a pullback. It has been on quite the run. Also on top of that, the markets were fairly choppy, and we did see some strength when it got down to the $50 area. It was able to have a bounce. Going into tomorrow, if it breaks through $50, I talked about this inside of the technicals, you're going to want to see some strength at those support levels. And the reason being is, if it ends up breaking through those levels, then you could really start seeing that, you know what, this play could start losing some steam. But again, I still feel like Lucid can give us a little bit more as this week progresses. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential, and it's part of the reasons why I continue to be bullish when it comes to trading this play. I want to make sure that I emphasize that. Many people are getting that confused when it comes to investing. But aside from all of that, one thing that is clear, Lucid does have a lot of demand in the market for shares. So if we have a lot of volume coming into the play, this is part of the reasons why I wouldn't be shocked if we're able to make another retest of $60 very soon. But like I say in all my videos, just don't go out there and follow any advice you see online blindly. Do your homework. Do your due diligence and figure out, hey, will this be the right play for me to actually get into? Because in the end, it is your money, and I want to make sure you're successful in the market, and the last thing that you want to do is to go out there blindly buying at the highs and becoming a bag holder. It's just not a good feeling when your money's sitting down in a particular stock because it pulled back and you could have been taking advantage of other better opportunities. So let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow, because you guys know for a fact I'm going to keep it on the radar. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.